Hello everyone, in the previous lecture we have already seen special education and integrated education. Now let's go to the concept of mainstreaming. The concept of mainstreaming owes its origin in the work and ideas of Samuel Cradley Poe. He is an American physician who took keen interest in the education of blind and deaf children. As early as 1851, Home had stressed that blind children should be educated in regular schools because of the social advantages of such a setting. He was advocating in favor of mainstreaming the handicapped children in the general schools. In 1975, the concept of mainstreaming was introduced in the Education for All the Handicapped Act. So, the question arises, what is mainstreaming? Mainstreaming refers to an educational placement procedure in which disabled children are educated in the least restrictive environment to satisfactorily provide for their educational and related needs. Mainstreaming in the context of education is the practice of placing students with special education services in a general education classroom during specific time periods based on their skills. Schools that practice mainstreaming believe that students with special needs who cannot function in a general education classroom to a certain extent belong in the special education environment. The concept of mainstreaming is based on the following convictions. Number one, disabled children have a wide range of special educational needs. And number two, the special education needs of disabled children vary greatly in intensity and duration. Number three, there is a continuum of educational settings which may be appropriate for an individual child's needs. And number four, disabled children should be educated with non-disabled children. And last one is, special schools may be necessary only when the special needs of disabled children cannot be satisfied in general schools even with the provision of supplementary aids and services. Now we look at components of mainstreaming. There are three components of mainstreaming. First one is integration in education. Second is educational planning and programming. And third one is clarification of responsibilities. So let's see. First one is integration in education. Integration is the opposite of segregation. Segregation is the process by which children with special needs are identified as a separate group and are educated in special schools in the company of other disabled children of the same category, being alienated from the parents, siblings, non-disabled, peers and their own community. Gradually, the social and physical distance between this group increases a feeling of otherness in the group. Integration is the process of bringing the parts to the whole. Next point is education planning and programming. Simply placing the special child in the regular classroom with other children is not enough for mainstreaming to succeed. The educational program of the mainstreamed child needs to be planned carefully. Special efforts must be made to plan the program for the unique needs of such children so that they can achieve the maximum benefits of participation in the regular classroom. For this to occur, supportive personal and services should be provided both to the child and the regular class teacher. Next point is clarification of responsibilities. In some mainstreaming situation, the regular teacher must assume total responsibility for the special child. But usually, resource teachers are appointed in mainstreaming situations. When both regular teachers and the resource teachers are working with the child, there may be confusion regarding who is responsible for what. The child's total needs can be met when their respective roles are clearly and carefully delineated. Moving further with the characteristic of mainstreaming. First one is educational programs for the mainstreamed handicapped children should be planned carefully to meet their educational needs. Second one is the responsibilities of the regular teacher, resource teacher should be clearly delineated. Next, the regular class teacher should ultimately take the responsibility of educating the handicapped children in the general schools. Next is only mildly handicapped children should be exposed to mainstream situations, and severely handicapped children who have completed their preparation and learned the pre-academic skills, daily living skills, communication skills and other prerequisite skills in special school settings may be later mainstreamed in the general schools. Next one is the regular teacher must accept and agree to implement mainstreaming in their classroom and schools. Usually we see there is often a lot of confusion between the terms mainstreaming and inclusive. Often these terms are used interchangeably, but they mean two very different things. Mainstreamed students are part of the special education classroom when they enter the regular education classroom or certain subjects. When they enter the regular education classroom for certain subjects, this is considered mainstreaming. In comparison, inclusive students are regular education classroom students who receive special education services. Usually, whether is not a student education is mainstream or inclusion is based on which is the least restrictive environment, which can be determined in the student's individualized educational. Now, we look at some advantages of mainstreaming. First, advantages for special needs children. One of the main advantages of mainstreaming children with special needs is that it allows them to be in a more natural environment than self-contained classrooms do. In the real world, individuals with special needs are expected to function in society alongside typically developing peers. Being in a regular classroom provides opportunities for children with special needs to learn important life skills, especially those involving socialization. Mainstreaming also encourages children with special needs to excel academically by providing challenges. Expectations in traditional classrooms are often higher than those of self-contained classrooms, and students achieve greater success when they are held to higher standards. Next is advantages for non-disabled children. Having children with special needs as classmates can be beneficial to typically developing children in many ways. Mainstreaming prepares non-disabled students for the real world by teaching them about diversity and helping them develop empathy. The practice of mainstreaming provides typically developing students with opportunities to form meaningful relationships with students with special needs. Non-disabled children can also benefit for mainstreaming when peer tutoring models are put in place. Teaching or helping a child with special needs practice certain skills gives non-disabled students increased exposure to the subject. So today we have seen concept of mainstreaming. Thank you for listening.